Welcome to the Focus on Greatness podcast with me, Hiram Roche. This podcast, we encourage fathers, husbands, believers, and entrepreneurs to be able to walk into their God-given potential. Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the Focus on Greatness podcast. I am your host, Hiram Roche, also known as HR. And as always, it is truly an honor to be able to be with you, my Greatness tribe. And listen, we're going to dive right in. I hope that your weekend was wonderful. I hope last week was great. I hope you were able to start walking in some things based on our conversation on last week. The conversation that we started on last week, we started to really talk about this context of being able to try again. I believe that there were some things that we have stopped. There are some things that we quit. There were some things that we might have given up for a variety of different reasons that we did. But at the end of the day, what I believe God was sharing with all of us is we need to try again. The verse of scripture, or the base scripture that we use for that, is coming out of Deuteronomy, which we're going to do part 2 of this conversation tonight. But Deuteronomy chapter 10, verses 1 through 5 is what we read. And so we're going to look into that again, because I believe that there's some other principles and things that we can be able to gather from that to not only try again, but make sure that when we do it this time, that we're doing it in a certain type of way. I believe a lot of reasons why it might not have worked the way we needed it to, or it might not have went the way we wanted to, is because, which we'll talk about tonight, is because we did not secure the dream, secure the goal. We did not secure the vision that we had, or secure the thing that we were walking into. We didn't secure it. So because it was not secure, it was not in the context of where we talk about secure the bag, we didn't secure it. And so because that context of things did not happen the way we probably should have done it, or the way we wanted to happen, or whatever didn't transpire the way we thought, sometimes what ends up happening is because of those phases, when trials or situations or things come about, we lose grasp of the goal, the dream, the vision that we had. And then we get into these positions where we end up quitting, or not going back to it, or quitting altogether, or losing so much focus on it because we are distracted by so many different things. So let's dive into tonight's conversation. And we're going to again go back to Deuteronomy chapter 10. Starting at verses 1, we're just going to read a few verses of scripture. I'm going to try to get through all of this context tonight. If not, we'll just create this and make this another conversation, or continue this conversation with this. Okay, so in Deuteronomy chapter 10, starting at verses 1, this is what it says. I'm reading out of the King James Version. This is what it says. It says, "At that time the Lord said unto me, Hew thee 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and come up unto me into the mount, and make thee an ark of wood. And I will write on the tables the words that were in the first tables which thou break. And thou shalt put them in the ark." Hear the context. Verse 2 says again, "And I will write on the tables the words that were in the first tables which thou broke. And thou shalt put them in the ark." You need to secure this. This is what we're going to talk about tonight. Verses 3, and it says, "And I made an ark of shittim wood, and hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and went up into the mount, having the 2 tables in my hand. And he wrote on the tables, according to the first writing, the 10 commandments, which the Lord spake unto you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. And the Lord gave them unto me. And I turned myself and came down from the mount, and put the tables in the ark which I had made. And there they be, as the Lord commanded me." Now, here's the context that I want to be able to really take our time with in this conversation. I don't want to rush this, because I want to make sure that we get a clear understanding of what I believe God is trying to give unto us in reference to the insight, so that we can be able to really have a clear understanding of how to be able to protect, put this in a protective state, or a place where we make sure that it is secure enough to be able to be successful for our future. Okay. So again, in this context, we see this. We see God communicating unto Moses. And in this context, if you did not listen to the first one to get some clarity, a background of it, I want you to go back to the last episode and listen to that so you can be able to have an understanding of the background and the thought process behind this conversation. So God is having a conversation with Moses. And he's allowing Moses to be able to, he's telling Moses, look, this is some instructions that I need you to do. The first time you did this, there were some things that end up happening. Like, you came up here, we spent time together, we did all of these things. But when it came down to you actually making sure that this was secure, you making sure that this was not broken, you didn't have anything that could protect it. You didn't have anything that you can house this in that can keep it from danger. You took it down free. You just had it loose. It was just open. And because of that, you were affected by certain things that end up happening when you went down, based on what you saw, based on how you felt. And in the result of that, you broke the very thing that I gave unto you, the very thing that we spent time trying to create. And if you relate to this context, I want you to do me a favor. Surely, if you're watching this live, I want you to just put in the comment, I understand. Like, have you ever been in a place and in a position in your journey of life where you got so frustrated with the results? You got so frustrated with how things were looking. You got so frustrated in your emotional state was kind of like out of whack because of certain things, to the point where you just gave up. Like it wasn't that per se that you couldn't push through. It was just so frustrating and irritating that you could not see beyond where you were. So you just quit. You just dropped it. You just broke it. You just let it go. And if this is understood, then we understand how Moses and why Moses did what he did. He did it as a result of his frustration. He did it as a result of, I've been putting in all of this time. I put in all of this effort to be able to spend in the presence of God. And when I come down, y'all down here doing this foolishness, I'm frustrated, I'm agitated. And because of that, the scripture says he threw it down and it broke. Now God is saying, I need you to try this again, because what I needed to be able to be created, what I needed to be as a standard for the people, is vitally important that they have it before they go into their next. So I need you to create this again. I need you to try this again. And in the same context, that's what God is saying for us, that I need you to try this again. I understand how it looked. I understand how you felt. I understand all of those things when you tried this last time. But I need you to be able to go in and try again. All right? I need you to try again. So what we want to see today is, not only is God saying, I need Moses or us to be able to try again, but he's also saying, I need you to try it again, create this again. But when you create it, I need you to create something that it can be secured in. Let's read it again, starting in verses 1. And at that time, the Lord said unto me, hew thee 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and come up unto me into the mount, and make thee an ark of wood. And I will write on the tables the words that were in the first tables which thou broke, and thou shalt put them in the ark. You should secure it. Like, we're going to create this again. We're going to do this again. I'm going to restore some time. I'm going to take all of this back. We're going to make this work. But I need you to place it in a secure place. So here's the context. When we think about the ark, we can take in this context of looking at what God is saying unto us on tonight in these conversations, and we can be able to say and look at what the importance of the tables, the 10 commandments that God had written out on these tables for the children of Israel to be able to have. We can be able to look and see and say, okay, our dream, the thing that God spoke unto us, the vision that God gave unto us, the stuff that he has placed in our hearts, the desire that he has given unto us, is as important, in a sense, as important as this context of what we're talking about with the 10 commandments. Is as important. And if it's as important, then God is saying unto us, I need you to make sure that you have something created where you can be able to protect this. I need you to have something that it can be secured in. So this is what we're going to deal with tonight. This is how we did this. So here's where Moses does in verses 3. He does this. He says, and I made an ark of shittim wood, meaning he created the place it need to be secured in before he went to start it again. Let's say this again. He created the place of security for the dream, for the vision, for the goal. He created that, he had that understood before he went to try again. So let's look at what this is. I want to be able to give us some things. I probably have a couple points, but I want to be able to. I might not even make it through all my points. I'm gonna be very clear with you. I might not even make it through every point on this specific conversation. But I want to make sure that we have some form of idea, some form of thought process while we are creating this place of security for the dream, for the goal, for the idea that you have, for the stuff that you want to create, for the lifestyle that you want to live. There needs to be a place it can sit in securely. Okay, so here's the understanding that I need us to be able to understand as we compare this context with the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark was a very, very vital, important thing that God used to be able to house not only the Ten Commandments, but it was some other items that were sitting inside of this. The place where this set, it was vitally important for where it sat at. It sat in the presence of God. Eventually, they built what is called the tabernacle. And inside the tabernacle, there was a place called the Holies of Holies. And in the Holies of Holies is where the presence of God would sit. And this place, this Ark of the Covenant, set in the midst of the presence of God. Now, it's also vitally important for us to understand, I'm using this word intentionally, it's also important for us to understand that not only was it secured in the place of the presence of God, but it was also vitally important to understand who can touch it and who cannot. There were certain people that could touch this, and there were certain people that could not put life that you desire and should have for you. And start with the finish in mind. You'll discover how to redefine your purpose, build on actionable roadmap, and stay focused on the outcome that truly matters. With practical advice, real life stories, and a faith-driven approach, Start with the Finish in Mind will equip you to set clear, purpose-filled objectives, navigate challenges with resilience, and build a legacy that you'll be proud of. Start with the Finish in Mind by Hiram Roche, your guide to purposeful living and lasting success. I know this very, very well. Because there are so many times where it's not that per se I'm distracted. But sometimes we can literally talk ourselves out of our dream. We can literally talk ourselves out of our goals, talk ourselves out of our visions. The way we do that is we start saying things like, I can't accomplish. Man, I might not be good at this. Maybe it's not going to work for me. Negative connotations. So only way we can be able to look at this the way that we need to is we have to have a focus. We have to have a clear understanding of where we're going. We have to have a clear understanding of what this is supposed to look like. And in the context of doing that, it allows us to be able to see not only from distractions, protected from not only distractions, but also your negative conversation, your negative environment around your goal, your dream, your vision, the idea that you have. You're able to protect yourself from that. Again, we're going to talk about people in a minute, but even from people that can't speak into it correctly. So in this context, this is how we are able to protect it. This is the first thing. I want us to be able to make sure that we're protecting it. But the way that we protect it is we have to have a focus. We actually got to be able to know what is the vision. I believe it's in Habakkuk where Habakkuk says, write the vision and make it plain. So them that run may be able to read it. Meaning you can read this clearly while you're moving. It's so clear. It's so focused. It's so simple to yourself that you can be able to see it and keep on going. But it gives you the focus in the journey, because the reality is that in the journey that we go on, when it comes to working on our dreams, working on our goals, doing all of these things, it's not always easy. Sometimes it comes with struggles. Sometimes it comes with hardships. Sometimes you do fail, and then you got to keep going and trying it again. Sometimes the first result is not the result that you thought that you were going to have. But you have to not quit. You got to be able to protect it. You can't lose focus because it didn't look the way you wanted it to. Or it didn't go the way you thought it was going to go. There are certain things in my life, it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. Now, yes, did I have moments where I lost focus? Yes, I did. Did I have moments where I set in my negativity? Yes, I did. That's why this conversation is helping both of us. Because it's like, no, I need you to snap back in. Don't quit. Stay focused. Get back centered. Like don't allow that pain, that situation, that circumstance, whatever that is, don't allow those things to dictate your future. Learn, move. Let's keep going. We got work that we have to accomplish. You heal in the process. But you have to protect this. You got to protect that dream. Your dream is more important than your pain. Your goals is more important than your past. So we have to protect the dream, protect the vision, protect it. This is how we protect it, by writing the vision and making it plain, having a clear focus, All right. So let's deal with the second part, because the second part really is more important than the first. The second part is, remember I told you the ark set in the presence of God. So the second part is keep God in the center. Now, here's the thing I love about this part for me. This is how I look at this. God should be in the center and the foundation. Period. God should be the center and the foundation of your dream, your goals, your visions, the things that you want to accomplish. God should be the only thing that is the center and the foundation of all of those things. Because here's the context. The presence of God for that time period, when the Ark of the Covenant would sit in the place of the holies of holies, when the presence of God would fall, it would allow the enemies to know that God was with them, that God was with the children of Israel. Because how God's presence was revealed through the ark in the presence of God, where the presence of God would fall, where the Ark of the Covenant was, in the tent, in this place, in this tabernacle where God's presence was dwell, would come down and visit his people. when they saw the presence of God, it literally fell like fire from heaven. And it allowed the enemies that surrounded them to be able to know that God was with them. The enemies understood it to the point where when they did not see the presence of God, when they did not see that fire fall, they knew that the children of Israel was in a vulnerable position. So where the ark sat was in a protective place in the presence of God, where God was the center and the foundation when it came to everything that would be housed in that place. The presence of God is what protected it. If somebody did something wrong or would try to be able to touch it in the wrong way or would try to affect it in the wrong way, it was the presence of God that protected the dream, that protected the items that was inside of this Ark of the Covenant. God's presence is what protects our dream. God's presence is what protects the vision, is what protects the ideas that he has given unto us, the desire that he has placed within us. It is the presence of God that is our foundation and the center that protects us, even when we are foolish with the dream and the vision. So God has to be the presence of God around your dream, around your goal, around your vision. How do we get the presence of God around that? We include your dream, your vision in your conversation through prayer with God. Have you set your dream before the Lord? Have you set your vision before the Lord? Have you put your ideas before the Lord? Kept it before God? Allow God to be able to breathe on it, give you inspiration about it, show you different qualities that you can be able to get, certain strategic ideas that only in the presence of God, you can be able to get these things. Have you taken it into this secure place? The presence is the security. Okay, all right, let me stop. So this is very important for us to be able to recognize. Again, the first one is we are protecting what God has given unto us by having a clear vision and a clear focus. Then we are making sure that we're keeping this dream, this goal, this idea. We're making sure that it's in the presence of God. It's staying that God is the center and the foundation of everything that we do. Yes, I want to be able to have, my dream to be successful so I can be able to, do whatever, ever, like make sure that I have capital enough to be able to take care of generations behind me. Okay, cool. That sounds good. But what is the dream? How does that include in the kingdom work? Okay, yeah, you're going to take care of your house. You're going to take care of your sons. But what else does that include? How else is God breathing into you the resources that you want to have generational wealth? What is that also going to do for the kingdom? Yes, that's scriptural that you want to make sure that you have generational wealth, that I have enough income, enough seed, enough savings where I can be able to touch the second and third generation, generations down. That's wonderful. But how can God utilize the resources that he's going to give unto you to do his work? How does your dream not only impact you and your house, but how does your dream impact those that you're serving? Remember, we are walking in our greatness, and greatness is the ability to be able to serve well. And the only way that I can be able to serve well is I need to know who I am serving and how what I'm doing impacts those people. So yes, my family will be taken care of. Yes, I will be okay. Yes, we're going to walk in certain things, but it's as a result of me also doing my work and getting the understanding in the presence of God. So God is the foundation and God is the center of every single thing that we do. I need God all involved in my dream. I need God all involved in my ideas. I need God all involved in my vision, in the things that I want to accomplish, the things that I want to walk into. I need him all involved in everything that I want everything that needs to be accomplished. So these first two are going to be vitally important to be able to create this secure place. Create this secure place for the dream, for the goal, for the idea, for the thing that you want to go after. Because we want to make sure that this time when we try again, it's in a place that cannot be easily broken. It's in a place that is fully protected and fully secured. Because this future that I want to walk into, the success that I want to have, I cannot allow it to be easily broken. And I'm not going to be easily distracted. And I'm not going to remove myself from the presence of God. All right, family, I love you all. And I'll see you next time, right here on the Focus on Greatness podcast. We're going to continue this conversation, so you got to keep rocking with me. All right, love you. Share this with someone if this blessed you, and we'll talk later.